1, 2, 3, 4. The Herb Report, number 11. The Herb Report is about to start. Rock and roll, everybody. Welcome to the Herb Report. This is number 11, and this is 8/24/2007. Full week. Last week I had my birthday, and usually on my birthdays I try to do some fun stuff. And this time I did a couple of things I haven't ever done before on my birthday. One, I had a chance to go out to this experimental forest, and the thing that was amazing about it was that 30 years in 1930 it was farmland, and 70 some odd years later it's basically like a jungle. It's unbelievable. There was this tree down that had wasps hanging out in it. You saw ants walking around, trees and plants and whatnot. Didn't see a lot of flowers, and it even kind of sprinkled a little bit because it's a big canopy. I really didn't get that wet, and that was kind of cool. Fortunately, I was covered up, so I wasn't getting bit by the mosquitoes and whatnot, and that was kind of cool. So that was really interesting to do. And I always kind of said this about East Texas. If we did not mow the grass, you would not be able to see SFA in a couple of years. And I think that's really true because plant life grows very, very, very easily here in East Texas. Well, also, I had a chance to eat some Greek food also. I became a big fan of eating gyros or heroes, however you want to pronounce it, in Paris and even in southern France as well, and even in Amsterdam they had some of that. Did I see any? I think there was some Greek food in Rome. I ate pizza when I was in Rome. However, I really enjoyed the pita bread and the meat and the vegetables and whatnot. So that was something I really enjoy a great deal. And happily there's a place in East Texas that I can go at least get that and kind of remind it. And it's actually a little bit cheaper because it's not in euros, it's in dollars. And dollars are what I get paid in, and euros are not. So that was really fun. Then one of my friends has been wanting to shoot some footage, some Stormtrooper footage for a long time. And finally I just packed up my stuff, went over there and said, let's go shoot some footage. And it was really cool to have the lake as a backdrop. Every time I look at those pictures, and you look at the blog and see some of the pictures, it just really amazes me how spot on that Stormtrooper outfit really is. And if I had that outfit on, even though I'm kind of short, if I had that outfit on back in '77, I think they would just let me on the set and just thinking I was a Stormtrooper because that armor looks that good. They definitely, without a doubt, they would have used that armor. And I think that I had a small part in help making it and help gluing it together and put it together is fascinating. And it kind of gives you this ownership about making your outfit. You can go and buy outfits, and I can't sew, so if I needed a Star Trek uniform or whatnot, I pretty much need to purchase that because I can make a shirt. Would anybody want to wear it? That's the better question, and I would say probably not. Sadly, though, if you go to like to any of the big discount stores and whatnot, you buy a T-shirt for like $1, $2 and whatnot. And if you would try to make it yourself, it would cost a lot more than that in materials and whatnot. And we kind of got in that society where it's cheaper to go out and just buy something already pre-made than to make it yourself. We're kind of getting that way with food. It's almost, honestly, a lot of times more economical for me to go out and eat by myself. Like I want spaghetti. Well, if I go out and buy spaghetti and meat and the time cooking it, if I were to calculate all that, and versus for me to go out and spend $6 or $7 for a plate of spaghetti, and it's almost more economical to do that. And also because I don't want to eat spaghetti every night as well for the next month. And if I made a whole bowl of spaghetti, I could very, very easily do that. And we kind of got in the society that now that we don't sew, very few people sew their own clothes. I almost everybody I know doesn't wear any clothes that they make themselves. We're going to get to a point that we're not going to cook for ourselves so much anymore. Everything's going to be kind of prepackaged, and that's going to be kind of sad because something about home cooking that you just can't get from something that's out of a box. Well, anyways, I really enjoyed that gyro, and I really enjoyed having a chance to go shoot some footage out there as a stormtrooper and by the lake. And it's amazing when I see those shots. And again, the goal is, does it look like a movie? And that's my goal from now on. When I make my fan films and sci-fi films and even music videos, you know, can I make something look like a movie? And you might see me do this every once in a while. And actually, I got this from, of all places, Andy Griffith. They had some Hollywood people come up to Mayberry, and they were walking around looking at scenes that way. And it kind of makes kind of sense. You kind of frame to see what you're looking at what angles that you're doing this, that, and the other. And so I do that because I don't walk around with a little lens, but I can do that very easily, kind of like frame, okay, that's a shot there for that, and that's a shot there for that. And happily I remember that. And since making films is such a big part of my life, and thankfully to iMovie and Apple computers and YouTube, I'm able to make and distribute this videos very easily, very easily. And we have a lot of good 5 o'clock lighting here in East Texas too, which makes me look like a star even much more so. And I've been running and trying to get my cheekbones out too. I got my shades on today just because I feel like wearing some shades. So the birthday went really well. It was one of the best birthdays I had in a long time, and I'm really happy about that. I got to rock out a little bit and play my. And the bigger news is that I actually released my 4th rock CD, and it's called Rita's. And sadly, I believe they're going to tear that place down. So I was able to shoot a cover in front of it, and just basically have that kind of have Rita's at least live on in an album cover that I made. And the first 3 songs on the album, I actually had a chance to play there at some various open mic nights and whatnot. And you know, for me, you know, rock and roll, I kind of wrote this in the birthday blog. Rock and roll music, I think Jerry Lee Lewis kind of said it's really, really right in one of the rock history videos that I show, that it's the best music in the world. In a lot of ways, it is. It's so much fun. It gives me so much joy to sit down there and, you know, just be able to just sit down there and rock out. There's something about that sound and something I can do on a guitar that is just driving, and it gives me so much joy and so much passion, and it makes me want to write these sad, whiny, emo songs. And you know, when I hear a really good song, I was listening this morning to one of my favorite bands, Hall & Oates, and there's a song called "Every Time You Go Away," which was covered by Paul Young in the '80s, and that's how I first heard about it. Then I heard that Daryl Hall wrote it, and I found the original version, and the lyrics are just fascinating. Daryl can sing great, and the musicians are awesome, and you put it all together, and it's a magical moment. Magical moment. With my music, I don't have a band. I'm not the greatest singer in the world. The singing I do is fine for what I can do, and I write for my range. And I'm an okay guitar player. I can do all right on the guitar. And there are times when I listen to some of the songs on that record, on that CD that I just made, I just think, golly, that just sounds great. And had I had a real singer, had I had a real band to play this song, it would be magical, because it's already magic. And you know, like, you know, there's a song called "There's a Girl That I Know." I just love that chord progression. This is a beautiful chord progression on there. And then what was it? It's Your Loss, Baby. That's the second cut on that one. This is rock and roll tune. This hard out rock and roll. Then there's a great song. I just love the lyrics. Your Crime, My Crime, and those 3 songs are my favorite songs off that record. However, a couple of songs down in the 20s, there's 30 songs on there, by the way. Some of the songs down there in the 20s are great, are just, and sometimes for me, it's just a part of a song that I just fall in love with. It could be a bridge. It could be the chorus that I really like. It's really amazing what it is. It could be an introduction. I was going to re-record "There's a Girl That I Know" because I recorded that one last May. And so I'm a better singer now. But the intro that I played on that one just sounds so soulful, so alive. I couldn't record that one again. And there were a couple ones I went through. I listened to the version I had when I wrote it. And I thought, well, I can sing that one better now, so I'm going to do that one. And now there's a song on there, I Never Meant to Break Your Heart, and I've done a couple of versions of that one. I just love that. That's my jam. I mean, I feel that chord right here. And for those musicians out there, it's a 1 to a 3 to a 4 to a 5. It just fills my soul. It really does. And I just sit down there. I'm just so thankful now that I got a chance to teach a rock history class that really got me back into doing rock and roll. And I think I've said this before. There are 2 videos in the rock and roll class that I show, and one was on the 70s and one is on the punk music. And in the 70s one, Tom Petty talks about, rock and roll really wasn't supposed to be that good. I'm thinking, okay, I can do that. Then in the punk video, Iggy Pop talks about how he heard the Velvet Underground. And here was a singer that was a guy that couldn't sing, and Iggy Pop says, I couldn't sing, so let's all get together and sing. I'm thinking, well, I can't sing, so let's just get together and sing. It doesn't matter if you're rocking out, if you're having a good time, you're expressing your emotions, and that's the thing that's different between rock and roll music and art music. Art music, you need to spend years and years to really get fluid on an instrument, and it's nothing more beautiful than someone playing violin. Trust me, because I took violin this summer. They could play violin well, or piano. I used to spend hours and hours. I used to spend hours and hours on a part of a measure, on a beat, on a measure, just to get that part right. And once you get it right, it's one of the most magical moments ever. And you're laughing, you're play through the whole piece and think, yes, finally got it, and it's sounding great. And even though there's other people here that can play piano a whole lot better than I can, they can't play this. They can't play this song as well as I can play it right now because I worked so hard on it. And that was a magical. That's so magical as well. However, rock and roll music, for me, wanting to say what I want to say, whatever that is, be it happy, be it sad, be it whiny, be it emo, whatever you want to call the music that I do, I have something to say. And the other thing I try to do in the music that I write is not to bore. Thou shalt not bore when you make music, when you do any type of entertainment. If you were bored, you're boring. If you're bored with it, someone else is going to be bored with it. And reflecting back on the CD that I just released, and you're welcome to go check it out. It's on my blog, theinternetlegend.com. It should be 1 or 2 posts down now. If not, to go to next month if you're listening to this one, the podcast let down the line. And reflecting back, just a couple of songs that's just a little bit too long. And if you go through there and analyze songs like I do, like I love the Cars, and my boy Social Bliss play Best Friend's Girl all the time. And if you go through and analyze it, the first lyric, they have a second lyric, and then the third lyric. The first lyric, the first verse, and the third verse are exactly the same, with one extra word in it. And then the second verse is it's independent. Then they got the chorus in between there, and kind of like a pre-chorus in there. And it just structurally just put together really well. And I think with the beat, I'm not even doing it right on there. Just the beat of it. That's the way I play it when I play it. It kind of sounds like Sweater Girl, also, I guess. It's just a magical moment to go through there and analyze these songs. So, if you're a songwriter out there, I recommend highly go through and analyze the songs that you like. Why do you like this particular group? Why do you like this particular song? What is it about it that makes it good? And can you do something that's similar? Because it's all right to borrow ideas from other folks. Like, there's a couple of songs on there that I think the Best Friend's Girl, I had that in mind because the first verse and the third verse are exactly the same. And I think that was an influence on it. I didn't need to say anything more from that. Sometimes as songwriters, we just whine on and on and on, and really the audiences are more sophisticated and intelligent than a lot of people want to give it credit. You can just say something and just let it go and have someone just understand what you're saying. And if you're singing with emotion and it's coming from the heart, that's what really matters. And for me, when I play live, And hopefully there's going to be some more open mic scenes. And I got a place now I can play open mic right now, which is great. I'm thankful for that. And hopefully there'll be some more places I can play. I can always play on the street, and someone will probably listen. And if they don't, it doesn't matter, because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And I'm not about the money. Most the true artists out there aren't about that. I'll take the money and help pay bills and whatnot like that. But my friends that are truly great musicians don't care about the money, not at this point, because we all have day jobs anyways. It'd be awesome to make a living doing this. However, you do pay a price for that. You do pay a heavy price a lot of times. And do you want your soul to a record company? Do you want to have control of your music or not? Here, I can make a CD of 30 songs and release it, and basically it's cost me, I don't know, I've been saving up and finding cheap deals on CDs and whatnot with covers. I mean, with cases. And basically, every time I give out a CD, it's like 38 cents I spend, which isn't too horrible. So even if I could potentially sell it for $1, I can at least recoup the cost for it. I don't. I just give them away because I don't care about that. And really, when you download something from me, it costs me nothing. It's great. I love it when folks are happy to download my songs, because it didn't cost me anything at all. And basically, last week was also the 25-year anniversary of CD, the CD player that came out. And the first CD players that I've seen were like $600, and the CDs were like $35 a piece. And today, you can get CDs. You get a new CD for $12 to $14 to $17, and of course on CD players you can get them, $20 even, maybe even less than that. And I guess really with MP3s and with portable music players and whatnot, the life of the CD is sadly dying out. And back in the '90s, I thought this was going to be a medium that's going to stay around forever, and I'm sure people thought records were going to stay around forever, and cassettes, 8-tracks, they probably realized that 8-tracks were going to stay around forever. However, whatever the medium is what's going to happen and what's going to change, and you have to be able to transfer your music from one place to another. How many records out there are never going to get transferred over to CD or to MP3s or to whatever compression system you want to say out there? A lot. And, at one point, folks used to record things on reel-to-reel. Well, if you have that, who has a reel-to-reel player nowadays that functions? Very few folks, I believe. Cassette decks and 8-tracks are even harder to find, and record players aren't as hard, but to find someone that has one at their house is hard. So these things you kind of think about and you kind of recognize and you care about as well. And I'm so thankful for all the birthday wishes and the friendships that I have out there, from folks that I know personally and the folks that I don't know. I literally have had emails from folks from all over the world wishing me, giving me birthday wishes, and I'm really thankful for that. And thank you for the folks out there that enjoy listening to the songs I write, or reading my blogs, or watching the sci-fi movies and whatnot. I really appreciate having an opportunity to do that at this point in my life. And I'll keep on doing it for as long as I can, as long as I want to. And this baby here, playing guitar, is what I always wanted to be able to do, and I always wanted to go out there and rock and roll harder than anybody else, and I can. And every time I go on stage, that's my mission, to rock and roll even harder. And someone that's down, sad, whatnot, I can reach them with my music, and I can make them rock out, and that's my mission. In between the whiny, sad, songs I sing in between. Well, anyways, we're coming close to the end of this longer report, and really, I hope everybody has a great beginning of this session if you're going to school. And if not, hope you have a great fall, and I wish everybody well. Rock and roll, and see y'all next time. Probably in a couple of days, I'll do another Herb report. So thank you all. Rock and roll, and have a great rest of the day. The Herb report is now over. The Herb report is through. Keep on rocking.